Mattatyahu, or Matthew, chapter 16. And the Pharisees and Sadducees came, and trying him, asked that he'd show them a sign from heaven. And he answering said to them, When it's evening, you say, Fair weather, for the heaven is red. And in the morning, Stormy weather today, for the heaven is red and overcast. You know how to discern the face of heaven, but you're unable to discern the signs of the times. A wicked and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and no sign shall be given to it except the sign of the prophet Jonah. And he left them and went away. And his taught ones came to the other side and had forgotten to take bread. And Yeshua said to them, Mind, and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, it's because we brought no bread. But Yeshua, aware of this, said to them, you of little belief, why do you reason among yourselves? Because you brought no bread. Do you still not understand? Neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000, and how many baskets you picked up? Or of the 7 loaves of the 4,000, and how many large baskets you picked up? How is it that you do not understand that I did not speak to you concerning bread, but to beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees? Then they understood that he did not say to beware of the leaven of bread, but of the teaching of the Pharisees and Sadducees. Now, when Yeshua came into the parts of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his taught ones, saying, Who do men say the son of Adam is? And they said, Some say Yohanan the Immerser, and others Eliyahu, and others Yirmiyahu, or one of the prophets. And he said to them, And you, who do you say I am? And Shimon Kepha answering said, You're the Messiah, the son of the living Elohim. And Yeshua answering said to him, Blessed are you, Shimon bar Yonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in the heavens. And I also say to you that you are Kepha. And on this rock I shall build my assembly, and the gates of Sheol shall not overcome it. And I shall give you the keys of the reign of the heavens, and whatever you bind on earth shall be having been bound in the heavens. And whatever you loosen on earth shall be having been loosened in the heavens. Then he warned his taught ones that they should say to no one that he is Yeshua the Messiah. From that time, Yeshua began to show his taught ones that it was necessary for him to go to Jerusalem and to suffer much from the elders and chief priests and scribes and be killed, and to be raised on the 3rd day. And Kepha took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, Be kind to yourself, master, this shall not be to you. But he turned and said to Kepha, Get behind me, Satan, you're a stumbling block to me, for your thoughts are not those of Elohim, but those of men. Then Yeshua said to his taught ones, If anyone wishes to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his stake and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life shall lose it. And whoever loses his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man profited if he gains all the world and loses his own life? What shall a man give in exchange for his life? For the Son of Adam is going to come in the esteem of his Father and with his messengers, and then he shall reward each according to his works. Truly I say to you, there are some standing here who shall not taste death at all until they see the Son of Adam coming in his reign. Marcos, or Mark, chapter 8. In those days, the crowd being very great and not having any to eat, Yeshua called his taught ones near and said, I have compassion on the crowd, for they've now been with me 3 days and do not have food to eat. If I dismiss them unfed to their home, they shall faint on the way, for some of them have come from far. And his taught ones answered him, How shall anyone be able to feed these people with bread here in the desert? And he asked them, How many loaves do you have? And they said, 7. And he commanded the crowd to sit down on the ground, and taking the 7 loaves, giving thanks, he broke them, gave them to his taught ones to set before them, and they set them before the crowd. And they had a few small fishes, and having blessed, he said to set them also before them. And they ate and were satisfied, and they picked up 7 large baskets of broken pieces, and those eating were about 4,000. And he dismissed them. And immediately entering into the boat with his taught ones, he came to the parts of Dalmanutha. And the Pharisees came out and began to dispute with him, seeking from him a sign from heaven, trying him. And sighing deeply in his spirit, he said, Why does this generation seek a sign? Truly I say to you, no sign shall be given this generation. And leaving them, again entering into the boat, he went to the other side. And they had forgotten to take bread. And they did not have more than 1 loaf with them in the boat. And he was warning them, Mind, be aware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the leaven of Herodes. And they were reasoning with one another, because we have no bread. And Yeshua, being aware of it, said to them, Why do you reason because you have no bread? Do you not yet perceive, nor understand? Is your heart still hardened? Having eyes, do you not see? And having ears, do you not hear? And do you not remember? Remember when I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000? How many baskets filled up with broken pieces did you pick up? They said to him, 12. And when I broke the 7 for the 4,000, how many large baskets filled with broken pieces did you pick up? And they said, 7. And he said to them, How do you not understand? And he came to Bethsaida, and they brought a blind man to him, and begged him to touch him. And taking the blind man by the hand, he led them out of the village. And having spit on his eyes and laying hands on him, he asked him, Do you see at all? And he looked up and said, I see men, like trees walking. Then he placed his hands on his eyes again and made him look up. And he was restored, and he saw all clearly. And he sent him away to his home, saying, Do not go into the village. And Yeshua and his taught ones went out to the villages of Caesarea Philippi. And on the way he asked his taught ones, saying to them, Who do men say I am? And they said to him, Yohanan the Immerser, others Eliyahu, but others one of the prophets. And he asked them, And you, who do you say I am? And Kepha, answering, said to him, You're the Messiah. And he warned them that they should speak to no one about him. And he began to teach them that the Son of Adam has to suffer much and be rejected by the elders and chief priests and scribes and be killed. And after 3 days rise again. And he was speaking about this openly. Then Kepha, taking him aside, began to rebuke him. And turning around and seeing his taught ones, he rebuked Kepha, saying, Get behind me, Satan, for your thoughts are not those of Elohim, but those of men. And calling near the crowd with his taught ones, he said to them, Whoever desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his stake and follow me. For whoever desires to save his life shall lose it. But whoever loses his life for the sake of me and the good news, he shall save it. For what shall it profit a man if he gains all the world, yet loses his own life? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his life? For whoever is ashamed of me and my words in this adulterous and sinning generation, of him the Son of Adam also shall be ashamed when he comes in the esteem of his Father with the set apart messengers. And Lucas, or Luke chapter 9, verses 18 through 27. And it came to be, as he was alone praying, the taught ones were with him, and he asked them, saying, Who do the crowd say I am? And they answered, Johanan the Immerser, but others Eliyahu, and others say one of the old prophets has risen up. And he said to them, And you, who do you say I am? And Kepha answering said, The Messiah of Elohim. And strictly warning them, he commanded them to say this to no one. He said, The Son of Adam has to suffer much and to be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes, and to be killed, and to be raised the third day. And he said to them all, If anyone wishes to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his stake daily and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life shall lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake shall save it. For what is a man profited if he gains all the world and is himself destroyed or lost? For whoever is ashamed of me and my words, of him the Son of Adam shall be ashamed when he comes in his esteem and in his Father's and of the set apart messengers. But truly I say to you, there are some standing here who shall not taste death at all until they see the reign of Elohim. And it came to be about 8 days after these words, taking with him Kepha and Johanan and Yaakov, he went up to the mountain to pray.